Good afternoon, all. My name is Oladele Ayorinde. Welcome to the Organ House concert and seminar series for today. It's another day and obviously a unique one because we are having another edition that tends, to speak to one of the realities and the concerns of contemporary Nigeria, particular the music education and music scholarship in Nigeria. So today, our focus is navigating the future, exploring the CCMAS in music for Nigerian universities. I'm sure many of us have been expecting this. And today, we are so happy as we have one of the senior colleagues, one of the senior scholars and professor in the Nigerian Music Academy, in the person of Professor Mike Olatunji. Shortly, I will hand over the mic or hand over the baton to him to introduce himself fully and tell us about his work, his current work. We're not just, we are also interested to know about what he's working on, his research, as well as our own HOD. But shortly, I will get there. But before that, the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series is a space where we invite scholars, artists, professionals in music, as well as allied disciplines. This is a space where we create an enabled space for people to interrogate, to explore, and to open up new discourse. Here, there's a freedom of interrogation. Here, we provide an avenue to equip and empower people to explore and to also challenge tradition while also expanding the frontiers of knowledge. This is what we do at Organ House Concert and Seminar Series, and I am happy to welcome you. Our ultimate goal is to relocate and to refocus the Nigerian and African music scholarship into its place and within the global music scholarship. So I hope some of you have been following our series. Today is a unique one. So please stay tuned as we dig into and explore the phenomenon of CCMAS today. So while doing that, I'd like to acknowledge the administration and the management of Mountaintop University. In particular, I want to thank the Vice Chancellor in the person of Professor Elijah Ayolabi for the opportunity. And of course, as usual, our, our head of the department, the person of Dr. Bayo of Adeyemi. So, I have explained the focus for today. Without wasting much time, I would like to pass the baton around to our presenters. Oh, pardon me. Like she said earlier, we are three seated here. We are three people seated here. We have one more person joining us online. That's the person of Sister Agatha from University of Port Harcourt. Shortly also, we'll pass the baton to her to explain and tell us about our work. And let's start from there. So right now, I would like to pass the baton across. So where do we start from? But let's start from home. Then we'll go to always from the known to the unknown. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oladele. It's really a nice one. My name is Dr. Bayo, like I already said. Um, I work with the Mountaintop University, Music Department, Organ House. Talking about my projects, my works now. I think I like to say this way. My project now is Organ House. That's the immediate project now, which you are involved. It's about positioning this young department of music and channeling a way out and restoring hope. But academic-wise, I'm an ethnomusicology, like you know. My focus is actually on Yoruba ethnomusicology, and I'm working on my research now. It's on documentation of some certain Yoruba musicology, which has gone far. I'm also, apart from being an ethnomusicologist, I'm also involved in ethnomusicology. One of my areas is music business, which very shortly, that one also will be there. Music day-to-day business music on the streets of Nigeria or Africa. So but for now, the immediate, it's organ house. And that is all, and that is where we are. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before going to Prof, let's quickly let's move down to Port Harcourt via virtually, then we'll come back to Prof. So, Sister Agatha, can we have you please introduce yourself and let's know what you're working on and yeah, other important details.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody, and those online too. My name is Sister Dr. Mary Agatha Oza, HHCJ. Everybody normally asks me, what's the meaning of HHCJ and why must it appear on my name? That's the abbreviation of my order, the Handmaids of the Holy Child Jesus. I'm a lecturer at the University of Port Harcourt, Department of Music. My area of research, my interests include the exploration of cultural and gender perspectives in traditional African women's rituals, music, and dance. Also, I work on African continuities in the diaspora, cross-cultural issues, and indigenous music. Part of my degree also is on sacred music. So I work on Christian, religious, and sacred music with a focus in chants. And most recently, having that contact with our big daddy in African music, Professor Meki Nzewi, I have expanded my interest to looking at the science of African music. I write a lot in, most of my writings are in rituals, particularly women's rituals. And presently, I'm also co-writing an article, which is partly sponsored by Carnegie. And of course, they gave us the grant to do the research. And so I'm co-writing that article with Professor George Doe of Mississippi University. And we are writing on area music and ritual of the Okrika people of Rivers State. So that's the thing I'm doing now. And I work also with other areas within the Port Harcourt region. I think I will stop there.
Wow, thank you so much. We are looking forward to your article. We can't wait for that. We're looking forward to it. Thank you. So let's come back home and let's welcome our professor. Yeah, let's
okay. Thank you very much, Doc, and our coordinator. Yes, my name is Michael Olatunji, Professor of Music and Musicology. I'm a staff for the Department of Music of Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State. Yes, for my first degree, I started as a performer. So I did performance. For my second degree, I went to composition. And for my PhD, I investigated and interrogated the military music. As a matter of fact, with the title Evolution of Military Music in Nigeria. covering the three arms of the military, that is the music of the three arms of the military, namely the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Then the police. Yeah, I'm a composer, also, I've written some works and published them too, under the, the book is titled We Sing and Play. One choral music is there, one orchestral music is there, and one military music is there. In that particular publication, then I've researched also into the popular music. Notably, I've written some works on Fela's music. Then most especially, the Yabis. So, which I published, notably I think I made a publication in US and two in the UK. Yes. Well, that's well, and for the in the area of performance, I am an organist, and I've written some works on saxophone. Saxophone, that's one of my major instruments, and I play the some strings. I mean some woodwind. As a matter of fact, the saxophone, I think two works on the saxophone, that is as a beginner, then as maybe a virtuoso saxophonist. So I think maybe for now, let me stop there.
Thank you so much, Prof. And thanks, Dr. Bayo. Thanks, Mr. Agatha, for that wonderful and insightful introduction of yourself, and also taking us into your work and introducing your work. So I think I'm interested. I'm looking forward to some of these works and to also share with colleagues and students here also. So we are looking forward to that. So let's go back to the business of the day. The business of the day is what in Nigeria of today, what we call the elephant in the room. What is this elephant in the room? It's CCMAS. Then the question of today is then, what is CCMAS in music studies? That's number one. The number two is, what is the potential of CCMAS, for, and two, the Nigerian music scholarship and music studies as a whole, both in contemporary Nigeria and also for the future. This is the business of the day. And I am happy also now to take us to this stage, and why I invite one after the other our experienced scholars, teachers, and panelists of the day. So in the next few minutes, we are going to explore two important questions. I think the first one is the notion of CCMAS. I think that is a question. What is CCMAS? It looks so simple to many people, but in the recent month or weeks, those who have encountered the conversation, as well as those who have been working across universities, might have a glimpse of what these questions, how deep and how interesting it could be. But I'm going to leave that to our presenters to help us to, while navigating this notion. So, what is CCMAS in music? Where do we start from? Okay, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that to us.
Okay, thank you very much, our coordinator. Yes, CCMAS. CCMAS stands for Core Curriculum and Minimum Academic Standard. Yes, it is, the latest, curriculum, that's being presented by the National University Commission, and I want to begin because we need to trace, to have a kind of a historical background, that is, how did we get here? I think that is very, very important. So, it was in 1989, the very first, curriculum, that was brought, that this was designed by the NUC, and that was called a minimum academic standard. So it went, that is, it was used for accreditation over a decade, but there's no perfect human individual. So it was in 2001, that the users, the universities and all the institutions, they came together, they saw some defaults, they saw some, deficiencies in that particular program, that is the MAS. So, the summary was that the MAS, that is minimum academic standard documents, were essentially content-based and merely prescriptive. So, and that was, why, experts gathered in 2004, the commission, that is the NUC, brought out some experts together, and they came up, what was produced was a benchmark statement, DS, and they considered that to be outcome-based, curriculum. So that was in place until, later, when the Professor Okepukola became the secretary of NUC. So he, there were also some challenges raised, some deficiencies, noted in DS. And in 2007, the commission, put in place a mechanism for the merger of the MAS and the DS. So, and now it became BMAS, that is benchmark, minimum academic standard. So that was in place, until 2018, because people saw, that is the users of the curriculum, they saw that some things are still lacking, and for example, the learning outcomes and the competencies expected, with the autonomy and so on and so forth. So, and in the effort to reflect the 21st century realities in the existing and new disciplines and programs, in Nigerian university system. So some experts were, also brought together. I was privileged to be one. As a matter of fact, I, was in charge of the BA music program. Professor Christian Onyeji was in charge of the BA Ed, that is the education aspect. So we were together, and prior to that time, the NUC reached out to this, department, offering music. You understand, like UNN. I could remember that I saw. I received the document from UNN, stating their suggestions. The Abraka, that's DESU, then OAU, I think Unilag. I'm not right. So now each expert was given the documents, harvested by the NUC. So I received those documents, and it was those documents that we worked on. But specifically, we were told that efforts, that is must be geared towards entrepreneurship courses, such as venture and creation and entrepreneurship, something that will bring innovation. So, and we had that at the back of our mind, that we must work towards that. So, and we were also told that the NUC, the Stratcom in NUC, they met with the Vice Chancellor, and they had already said that, okay, we are to produce 70%, then the universities will produce 30%. So we were working towards that 70%, and that was what we submitted eventually. So, and you will see that for the first time in that is the music curriculum, okay, CWES, because in order to really project the entrepreneurship aspect. So, I had to discuss with Professor Onyeji, dealing with the education aspect. They have a teaching practice, so there's no problem with them. But for music BA program, so I discussed with the person, that's Professor Mabel. She was the one, handling theater, theater arts. So the two of us now being programs in the performing arts, we said, how do we now project this entrepreneurship? And that was for the first time we now had to put a CWES as part of the curriculum. And that is why if you look at this CCMAS now, you see that in the 300 level now we have the CWES. I think it runs for 6 months. You understand? So that's maybe I will just stop there now, for now. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Prof. That was so insightful. Yeah. So let's move to let's go online. Let's go back virtually to Port Harcourt. So the question remains: what is CCMAS?
As Prof has already said, this is the core curriculum and minimum academic standards. Prof has told us much of the history, and one or two things that he mentioned in passing, which for me is very important, is that the Committee of Vice Chancellors were very much engaged with NUC in the preparation of this particular core curriculum. And the important thing about the curriculum is that it gives a kind of fundamental courses that every music student in a Nigerian university should know. And then, of course, the 30% is to allow a particular university to get in their specifics or what is unique about them. So the CCMAS, therefore, it was subject to 2 years of standard, stakeholders interaction. Prof, of course, has a very clean idea of this. So it's many people think that it's something that just came off like suddenly because of the way in which it was thrown to the universities to begin to interact with it. But it was subject to 2 years of stakeholders interaction using a model, the triple helix model. So there are a lot of things were considered, but like any new program, it's never going to be perfect from the onset. That is true. And so the program that we have now looks like something that we could, all the universities could work with. And of course, we look forward to whatever happens in the future. But just like the B benchmark and then the MAS, the core MAS, the core curriculum is also a gradual move to that perfection of the educational system that we would want to see in Nigeria. So I guess we would have to make that kind of baby step movements before we come to what we really want. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that insightful response. So let's really go back to, let's come back home to Dr. Bayo. We are still exploring what is CCMAS.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, sister. I think I like the way it is. I'm speaking last. I actually will not like to address what is CCMAS because Prof has spoken, Sister has spoken. My own short presentation will be, maybe I'll take it a little bit further, that what does CCMAS owe for us? I really know whether I'm jumping the gun. And before I go on, let me, in a layman, so to say, language, because my students are looking at me, they don't know what is CCMAS. So I like to tell them, CCMAS is the curriculum we're using now. And like I told some of you, 200 level to 400 level are using a different curriculum, which we call BBMAS. The new 400 level, you will notice that I've told them they are using CCMAS. So there's a little bit differences. So you understand what we're talking about now. It's all about you. Now, let me quickly go. My presentation was actually formed by my belief, or based on my daily interactions with these students. Before they come in, we always ask them, why are you here? Why do you want to study music? What do you want to do with music? And when you speak to some of them, you discover that what they want actually do not tally with what you are giving. And that is why I made this presentation, whether it be relevant at this point. But I would like to give this short 10 slides, 10 or 12 slides.
Well, I think before this slide, I think we have another question that we.
Maybe I should wait for
yes,
that.
Yes, exactly. So here, the purpose here, the focus now is just to
like I told my students, it is what for them. It is the curriculum because it's from the CCMAS that you derive your courses, and CCMAS was actually a product of coming together of some experts looking at what you want, and that is what you run. And let me leave it like that. So they will understand, they can follow us.
Definitely. Thank you so much, sir. And I'm looking forward to your.
Can I add something? Can I just add one?
Please do.
Yeah. Like I mentioned that it's a gradual movement. I want to give an example of one of the I won't call it defects now, but one of the problems that the BMAS had, which the CCMAS is trying to correct, and that is the number of GST courses in the BMAS. There were a lot of them. So that was one of the things that the CCMAS now tried to correct by reducing the number of GST courses. So I just thought that this would be something that will also help the students to understand that it's a curriculum, like the Prof just said, that is supposed to guide every university in Nigeria. And each university, though diverse as we may be, will be running partially the same subjects throughout. So, and that is where the 70% is. So the 70% is this number of courses, put it that way, group of courses that every student doing music in Nigeria is basically fundamentally expected to know. And then the 30% is for the university's uniqueness to come in. So I just, now that I'm aware that the students are listening, so I just wanted to be that clear. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the insight, and thanks, Dr. Bayo and Professor. Thanks so much for that wonderful, comprehensive explanation. Like I agree with Sister Agatha and Dr. Bayo that many people don't know these things. They just see the word CCMAS and they even join the conversation without knowing the deeper history or the precedence or the context or factors that led to this stage where we are. And I'm happy we are discussing this today. So we are quickly going to move to the second layer.
Sorry, Victoria.
Okay.
Yes, maybe let me just add this. The experts, in the the faculties, the NUC refer to us as disciplines, like those of us in the arts. So because that was the very first thing, that we did. You understand? No, we came up with the uniqueness of the arts discipline. You understand? And we had some few. Let me just read the uniqueness, because we first of all agree. That these are in fact the very first thing that we did was that art. In art music, art. We don't need a pass or whatever in mathematics. So, our students, because there's one thing that especially those of us in the performing arts, you understand. So then everybody agrees. So the very first thing is that all programs have inbuilt, they must have inbuilt mechanisms through which national aspiration and global competitiveness are affirmed. That's number one. Number two, admission requirements must specify subjects needed by students to get a degree in the arts discipline. Then number three, program-based entrepreneurial courses must be designed to broaden the employability and self-employment and job creation capacities of the graduates. Then number four, digital humanities. Those are the courses. When you look at the CCMAS, you will see that the faculty, that is all of us now, we gather together to build these faculty courses. Digital humanities, that is application of computer to art. Then the second one, you will see the arts and other disciplines. Then you will see the research methodology in the arts, specifically that is to enrich the arts discipline. Then clearly stated learning outcomes, and course content to ensure uniformity of knowledge delivery to all students of the arts across all universities. So you will see the GST, and you will see faculty-based, courses that all students must take in the Faculty of Arts. Emphasis on learner-centered programs with reduced credit loads. You will see that the credit loads were, just like a sister said, credit loads or what we call irrelevant courses. It's part of the effort to shed those loads now, so that we have emphasis on learner-centered programs. Then all programs are adapted. They are adapted to the rapidly evolving ICT environment. Actually, as a matter of fact, contacts were made with institutions outside Nigeria, so that we could see the programs being run by other universities outside, so that we will be relevant. Our students or graduates will not just don't just leave school and they'll be redundant looking for a job and everything. So that aspect also is taken care of. Flexibility in each program to accommodate new challenges, development and opportunities in a dynamic global environment. Then realistic and achievable objectives in all programs. So you will see that we emphasis is placed on objectives and learning outcomes. Then lastly, emphasis on innovative 21st century skills for effective learning and teaching, relevant to students' current and future lives, experience and aspirations, and the environment and society. So we first of all form this so that they are reflected in each. And when you look at music program, especially, that is because that is our major concern now. Yeah. You will see that these are reflected. All these uniqueness are reflected in the especially in the 70% of the one that is produced. And each university is now expected to reflect all this, even in the 30% contribution. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. I'm excited that we are having this conversation today. I am so happy, and again, I thank Professor for coming all the way to join us, even in person today. So we are happy, and we appreciate. We are grateful for that, for your effort, and able to also be flexible and coming. I notice, not just notice now, I sense the fact that you are concerned about this issue also. Hence, you have to come in person physically. That for us is quite important also. It shows your commitment to this to this agenda and to this project also, and to Nigeria as a country, the future of this country. Thank you so much, Prof. I don't know if sister has any additional point, or Dr. Bayo, before we move to the next focus.
No, I think I'm.
So let's move to the next one. We'll definitely come back to this section. We'll come back again during the general discussion, and we can then unpack most of the things that are important, most of the things professors has laid down for us on the table. We'll come back to all that. So then the next question then is, I'm going to do it very slow because I'm going to be intentional about it. What are the broader implications of CCMAS for music studies / scholarship in contemporary Nigeria in terms of social, cultural, and economic potentials? That is the next question. I'm going to read section. Let me read it again. Perhaps people want to take note or want to indicate, because this is very important. Talking about future concerns, contemporary concerns. This is a real gist, and this is a real concern of that question, the initial one. So what are the broader implications of CCMAS for music studies / scholarship in contemporary Nigeria, particularly in the context of social, cultural, and economic potentials of this nation? So that is the next question. Now, I think for this section, you are welcome to share like your slide, use any forms of device or things you want to share with us to explore these particular areas. So where do we start from? Sister, should we start from you? Let's start from Port Harcourt. What do you think?
I thought Prof had a slide, so I was interested in seeing his slide.
Okay, myself.
Okay, then let's have it.
Okay. Let me start by doing a very quick appraisal of the CCMAS.
Okay.
Because I have worked with BMAS and now with CCMAS, and one of the novel things is this 30%. I was brought into the It wasn't a decree now. You have the freedom to improve some things, which makes it very flexible, and it gives each institution identity. Then the C weight is also very low. It's before they graduate, they have a link with the industry or with the community, and they come back maybe to adjust. Now, be that as it may, I see CCMAS very well, better than BMAS. At the same time, I've looked at it with my students. Funny enough, I'm in the private sector. There's questions, why must I even pay ₦1 million to study? So it becomes very critical. We've looked at CCMAS and say, okay, how will this still be? Because the concern of everybody is employability. And I'm glad Prof said that. That is why this presentation might not be about CCMAS, but about what comes after CCMAS.
Yeah. Should
there be any opportunity? What are we thinking? One, what do the students want? Two, what are the society waiting for us to do? Now, because some of these students, when they come around, they say, I want to do. The first thing we ask them is, what do you want to do? I want to be a music producer. I want to do this. I want to do that. We calm them down. And sometimes ago, I had a student who graduated and was posted to a nearby state, Ogun State, and he rushed to my office. I said, sir, I don't know where to work and I don't want to teach. I looked at him and I said, what do you mean? Is there no television station there? Is there no radio station there? He said, yes, but I don't know what to do. And I felt bad. I felt the boy is inadequate, which shouldn't be. So having coming together, that's why I put up these slides, which may actually instigate further discussion, I believe. And okay, this slide. Now, slide 2, this is just the topic of it. I said, the need to respond to global challenges, adopting a pragmatic approach. That's where we are now. The hypothesis in this is that the CCMAS as presently prepared is still grossly inadequate in meeting the realities of today's music scholarship. Because when you talk to these students, where do they want to work? when you even talk to some of their parents, they don't want to spend millions of naira and end up being an organist in church. Because coming from our own background, where do we work?
One second, please. I'm in a conference.
Where do we work? Where are the opportunities? And this opportunity is streaming down by the way. And I also believe that the academic community must respond adequately to these challenges, economic challenges. And what are the challenges facing the entire globe today? Global warming, political instability, economic recession. Those are the things facing the entire global community today. And the academic world must respond adequately to this, appropriately and adequately to this thing. And if you look at these three things, this is where the 17 goals of SDG came from this thing. And this is what this thing is addressing. And our curriculum must also address this thing. Must address global warming, political instability, economic recession. So that is where are we addressing it adequately? Should we prepare to address it? If there is any other opportunity? Now, I said these are the four burners of issues affecting humanity today, and these are derivatives of the 17 SDG. Therefore, it is expected that the institution must respond to this accordingly. All disciplines, economics, sciences, humanities, music, fine art, we must respond to this thing through our curriculum. Then we expand the horizon for this. The implication of not responding to these challenges appropriately is self-examination, which we are already experiencing. If you look at our number of intakes now, it's streaming down because the opportunities are not there. People now feel music is all about learning instruments. So I'd rather go to under the bridge and learn how to play guitar. Not knowing that there are more opportunities when you learn it in an academy. So the challenges are there. Then, not only in Nigeria, these challenges is global. And look, for instance, effect of this in Europe, effect of recession. European Union Youth Orchestra closed down sometimes ago for lack of funding. That's an orchestra, a whole orchestra, very popular orchestra, budgeted, but they could not go for it, so they are closing down. This orchestra was funded in 1976, funded by the European Union Cultural Ambassador. Danish orchestra also shut down in 2015. Even traditional churches in Europe and America are not as vibrant as they used to be. And I particularly mention of those traditional because that is where our music came from. And that is where the direct relevance of what we teach today is in this music, is in the churches, Orthodox churches particularly, and us. And they are closing down. Then music departments are also winding down. Oxford Brookes University shut down. Reading University shut down. Register to close down its PhD programs. Another College of Music closed down. Minnesota Music Program are closing down. So we must be prepared. If it's not affecting us today, does not mean it may not affect us. Now go to the next slide. Now, when they experience this, which we are experiencing, but maybe the magnitude of our own experience is not much. How did they respond? They responded by introducing new courses and specializations. Music production, performance enterprise, audio production, music technology system, creative and cultural education, history and music, jazz and commercial music instrumental, music and sound design technology, music in performance, primary education with music, audio art and community music. Please, before you go, this response came from those people we inherited our own curriculum. Yeah. Are we responding appropriately to the immediate challenges of our communities? Because even with the innovation in CCMAS, the bulk of this Western thing are still there. We need to look at that. I seriously believe that we need to look at that. Look at how we are responding. Now, I took an example of SOS of London. That's a very known university. When they face these challenges, how did they get out of it? How are they preparing to it? Look at their statement. I said statement made in the process of reviewing their status, because they feel if they don't respond appropriately, they also go into extinction. The wide range of possible career for music graduates include music performance, music teacher, music composers, music therapists, sound technician, radio producer, radio broadcast assistant, broadcast engineer, artistic representative, artist and agent manager. These are new things they brought on board to respond. It's not actually new, it's a combination of the old and the new. So they brought this thing to respond to the immediate challenges and the global challenges so that they could stay afloat. Now, look at the courses that from that, they brought us some of these courses. That's SOAS, music and travels, urban landscape, key concept of cultural studies, science and culture, writing across the arts, music healing, independent studies project in music. Let me stop on that before I go. In CCMAS, you see, it baffles some of my students when they still have to do special course in Western music. They brought my students, they say special course in Western music. I said, why are we doing Western music, special course in Western music when I've been speaking to them about survey? No, not survey. It's a special. It's a 4-unit course. It's a 4-unit course in 400 level. When I've been talking to them about decolonization, special topic, special topic, like a small project in Western music. I said when I've been talking to them about decolonization, why are we not doing special topic in what will interest them, in popular music, in Davido, in Fela, in highlight? Now look at this with gender and music. See, that's a direct response to SDG goal. Music in Africa, critical listening, the music business, global hip-hop. Very few, I know some of Nigeria's universities are responding to music business. I understand sometimes they go, even if you actually produce a PhD in music business, it is actually responding to what they want to do. Because then now, from SOAS, now they went further to list their graduates where they are being employed. After that recruitment restructuring, after those introduction of new courses, now look at what they are coming up with. Recent employment for their students, Christian Park Gallery, not a school, that's a gallery. Design Museum, Hong Kong Museum of Art, Indian Foundation for the Art, Japanese Gallery, Museum of East Asian Art, Music in Detention, National Gallery. Now, these are corporations, companies where the new intakes have been able to plug into. That's the new orientation, and that's what I think. If we have another opportunity to look at CCMAS, we should expand the scope. Then look at reposition, the sort of reposition. It goes on and on. Look at Taiwan embassy. So that means their graduates will be able to work in an embassy, British embassy, the National Museum of the Korea, Royal Collection, then Victoria, a lot of things, various things. And I take special notice of the fact that churches are not there, even institutions are not there. Those are new grants that they are broken using this idea. And if you even speak to some of our students, they also want to explore. Up to yesterday night, some of these students would be calling me, even some of them with music literacy, a lot of them, they want to do explore. Some of them want actually to do this. Even when you talk about composition, not so many of them want to write a back today. Not so many of them want to write anthem today. They want to explore. They want to look at the last seminar we had. One of them stood up here. I can see and said he thought while coming to this institution, he will be asked to go back to his village, bring out materials, use and make money and make life out of it. So the posters I'm going to put to people like my prof, who has been working on this, and this is very, very concerned, is that how would CCMAS respond to these challenges that will allay the fears of these students and that will reassure the parents who would like their wards after studying music to live the life of a banker, to live a life of a medical practitioner, to live a life of a leading society member, and not just go and be teaching violin in the neighborhoods and be taking 5,000 naira or 20,000 naira. The CCMAS come into covenant the present reality. Look, for instance, Even institutions are running away from establishing music school. If you are not very strong, it's so expensive.
Yes.
A very good organ like the one we have as it run is to millions. Pianos, recording equipment, and at the end of the day, you have 5 studios. And when we are talking about private university, it's about breaking even. So how is CCMAS taking into cognizance of this reality that people really want to survive? That studying music is not more for interest, it's to really for survival. Then how many of our graduates schooled with CCMAS or CCMAS can get employment outside the traditional sector, teaching at church, using this same curriculum? It's a challenge. We have to look at it. And more so, you don't actually have to study music before you play in church. I'm very sure Prof has been playing in church before he studied music. You don't actually have to study. You need to know more than that. Then, what is the economic relevance of CCMAS? That's one of the things the parents should ask. More important, in what ways is CCMAS helpful to the decolonization project? I mean the Africanization of those are the process. I work with this with 2 or 3 of my students who are already in the industry. Some of them, one of them particularly traveled out, and in the course of his traveling, he told me that was the first class student that we produce in this place. So talking about intelligent quotient, talking about the academic capability, it's okay. But he said categorically that he won't go for that to study music. So he's having his master's in, I think, business, something business related. And that was after, because I write his recommendation after I engaged him. And he said, what is being told to be music there is slightly different from what you're doing. So when I would put it, I took all those things into account and I said, CCMAS is a lot better than BMAS. Even like that, we must begin to look at the future. If there's any opportunity for us to do, we have to expand this thing, accommodate the fears, allay the fears of the students, then bring it to the reality of our immediate environment so that we can also gel properly with the international community. I think I've...
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. I agree with you. This is another layers to some of the concerns we are trying to address or engage today. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Definitely, we will get back to that as soon as we have all the. Yeah. So where do we go now? Should we go to Port Harcourt or stay here? I think let's go to Port Harcourt, please. So let's have Dr. Sister Agatha. Sister Doctor.
Prof, anyone. Prof, I think I really loud your analysis. I loud the concern, and I can almost tell you that that's the concern of every other person. Okay, especially with the way that things are changing so rapidly. And I guess that's why the CCMAS gave the 30%. But the discussion now is that 30% enough? That's another discussion. The CCMAS gave the 30% for each university now to make themselves or to bring out that unique aspect of themselves. But the question is that 30% enough? And there is, I put it a loop way, whereby you are being allowed to use the elective section to accommodate some of these newer things that each university might be looking at. Sorry, the people calling me from outside. So might be looking at. Like I said, it's a new thing, and definitely we are all at edge. Personally, I am also, and I have also had my own voiced out my concerns, even with the professor in charge of the committee here in our University of Port Harcourt. I have voiced my concerns, and I think ASU is voicing its concerns. Everybody is not too sure what is this is all about. At the same in the same juncture, I'm happy that you give us, examples of these other universities that have passed through, a kind of academic demise and sometimes rebirth. And I guess what we'll be wanting to know from our own system is learning from these other universities. What do we do so that we do not have to go through that long route of, going through the history of having to fall before rising? How can we learn immediately from these people and change? And I guess that's why we have the 30%, like I said, coming up, allowing us to make our own point. I agree with you. There are some of the courses in the CCMAS, like you rightly said, the one of the Western music, something. I saw that course also. It's not about the history, but it's about like taking specialized areas in the history of Western music and discussing it in detail. Yes, I agree with you on some of those things. However, I think it all depends on what we do with this in the classrooms. And I guess the only way we can find out how we will deal with it is by dealing with it. And my only thought and my only wish is that just like the BMAS, had its years, I hope also the CCMAS will have its years so that we can revisit most of what we have done. But I'm just hoping that it might not be too late. There's something very important that you mentioned, which I want to bring up again. And that is the aspect of infrastructure. You are very correct. We jump into things without the appropriate infrastructure. We have done that in many other things from my observation. So the concern here is, how do we get our university body, NUC, to convince them that to run this particular program, we need to put in place certain infrastructure, with which, in fact, if we had certain infrastructure in place, we will not even be complaining about the 30% or what, because some of the things that we need to do will be so easy to do that we might not be thinking. Say, for example, if you want to teach music technology, it's part of your specialty, or it's part of what you want to use. As I know, Mountaintop, you're very good in, say, guitars, for example, and you want to use that, In other universities in Nigeria, I doubt if they can have that kind of 100-man guitar orchestra that you have in Mountaintop. So that's a problem. But then that is where Mountaintop shines out. That's the uniqueness of Mountaintop. So I think also it will help if every university possibly shines out in one thing. And that will bring in the diversity and the entrepreneurship that the CCMAS is trying to create. I'm saying trying because we have not experimented on it yet. We're just going to begin with the first year, the first academic section, the new academic section coming in. That's the first time we're going to, the universities are all going to begin. So I think I'll stop there not to dominate, so I can give Prof also,
Thank you so much, Dr. Sister. I think I'm getting it right now. Doctor, thank you so much for that insightful contribution. So quickly, let's come back home and let's hand over let's hand the podium to our professor. I'm sure Prof has a lot to say because, like I said earlier, Prof is concerned about this thing also. And one could see from the works, even from the design and his presentation today, is personal concern beyond the scholarly enterprise. So, Prof.
Thank you very much, Doc. Yes, I share the concern of the HOD music MTU. Now, so far, from MAS to BS to BMAS, you could see that the NUC, used to give 100%. I don't know whether
the 30% is actually novel.
Exactly.
You understand that at Biam.
Yes, in fact, there was a kind of controversy. If not that the NUC put their feet on ground and that is we must have contributions from the universities. And it is based on the idea of autonomy. MAS was pushed into our throat. Nobody could argue 100%. BS was the same way. BMAS. But this time around, it's just for to allow creativity and innovation. You understand? No, that's why the something is that thank God. You just said that this is a new thing that is coming. Now, each university, and that's why we are talking about uniqueness. Each university, will sit down. That in those days, we used to hear if a school, maybe pharmacy, you understand, or
issues and law,
humanities. People like Jingo, people like I met this man.
They remain the same.
We call him Malam. He's in philosophy. I met him. I think when I went to South Africa. Ibadan was not for ABU was not for something. You understand? That is exactly what the CCMAS is trying to protect. Let each university be unique for something. Stand for something. And in reality, with what is what is global. You understand? That is exactly. We cannot really be jack of all trades. And the master of none. So, and that is exactly. But the 70% is just to give us. And that particular course that we talked about, that is special topic is meant for those who are in musicology. You understand? And we know musicology. I just say, when we highlighted this one, you see that musicology, they said the researcher into traditional and other music who will discover and disseminate information concerning music to other specialists and non-specialists. When you are talking about when you want to go into musicology, you have to, because one of our elders, that's Professor Bayo, he said that why do we have to really go into Western music deeply like that? Because that their music has been I want to use this word now, systematized. And you say that in teaching African music, you say that you use that model. You understand? When you are talking of texture, when you are talking of this one, when you are talking, so you just contextualize. This. So that's you have to have a grip, firm grip of what we are discussing conceptually. You understand? So for anybody to be a musicologist, you understand? You must have, but it's not everybody that will be musicologist. So it's just limited. It's an area of specialization. So if you want to go into performance, you don't. You don't. No, may not.
Now usually that it is part of the 70% we can't touch.
What I'm saying is that it is elective for the people. It is compulsory for those people in that area of specialization. Okay. Just like that's why what we did is just. In my institution is that we put some courses as compulsory. You understand? But like this one is elective. In fact, it's not. You don't even have to do it because it is not compulsory for you. Do you understand? So it's not the fact that it's compulsory or whatever. It is for those in that area. In that area of specialization. So and that is why what Reverend Sister said, is very, very instructive. In adding your 30%, please don't, make sure that you have more elective courses. You understand? Don't make them compulsory, because this is a 4-year program, and the maximum, that is the total number of units is 120. Okay, NUC had given us 70%, which is 84 credits. You understand? So we are to battle with 36. You understand, credits. So now that if you give all the courses, like Professor Okebukola said, if you give each of the courses 2 units, you understand? So that means you have 18 courses. So now in the 18 courses, why should you have to make all of them compulsory? So just give them that liberty to be elective. So, and you will see that you will be able to cover a lot of ground. So it will now push you to the area of specialization. Now, I want to cite, I don't know whether I'm permitted, a private university, also, you understand? You see that they now focus when they were building, because I was part of that the decision. So when they were building the remaining 30%, they focus on music production and management, which includes all these things that we're talking about: studio, this one, and technology. You see that most of their students now, in fact, one of the students, I think a year ago, got won the award of the best project. He constructed an instrument. You understand? A traditional instrument. You understand? He constructed it. So, and most of them in a production and management studio, this one, sound there, and you will see that they are doing well. That is their main focus. You understand? So you will not tell those people, not that of course they had a performer. No, they have somebody who played the piano. They have somebody. Some people in the musicology, but their area of strength. You understand? That's why he always mentioned that, okay, look, let each university use this SWOT approach. You understand? Yeah. Know your area of strength. You know your area of weakness, opportunities, and threats. You understand? So it's very, very important. It's very, very important.
Now, sorry before we go, let's even go back to the content of, because you are more important. The content of CMAS stuff. Yes, the 70%. Now, I discovered that practical courses were only limited to 100 level. Now, by the time you split, which is normal, which is the program, because you practical piano, voice must keep going. By the time you split it to 400 level, you have eaten deep into your own 36%. Because, you are eating deep into it. So, in actual sense, we are left with maybe 12 of that about. I don't know whether you noticed.
Yes, of course.
Because it was only voice, piano, everything was just only. I think it's an administrative error.
No, it's not.
It was only for a year.
No, it's not. It's not. It's just to provide the guide.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you should stop there.
But by the time we split it,
you make it elective. You make them elective. They are just one. Deliberately they are just one. They are just one. You understand? They know one course. So for example, our background at TFL. Yes. Okay, if you take a solo, you take a solo instrument now, then the group. You understand? Yeah, you must belong to at least two. You understand? Okay, either orchestra, band orchestra, the chorus. Then we have African and instrumental on some. So two. You understand? When you have those three, you understand? They are just one. If we are to, because I had that, when I was presenting, I did all. I included all those courses up to 400 levels. Notice that it's more than 70% now. You understand? You understand? So now, when it is now left for the university to, you understand? You see the one where we did at my institution. You have all of them.
We have all of them because that's our strength. Chorus and
Exactly,
orchestra.
exactly.
So we
for a performing arts department, I mean, when you now put a history, put this one, and you don't have a performance, why? I mean, you are definitely you are deviating from.
So we eating deep into our 30% is not because those units. Is that what you say?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Because it's our choice.
Make them electives. Make them electives, and you see that you must have shared yourself. I mean, the yoke of you understand. How do we put this one? How do we put that one? It's very, very simple.
Thank you so much, Prof. This is quite insightful. As mentioned earlier, I am so elated by your commitment to this agenda, and even the ways in which you spoke, you engage this shows a lot. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yes, then the question, okay, to our audience and members who are both online and offline, well, I'm going to more like a kind of follow-up question in the next 5-10 minutes. I'll throw it open to our panelists. Then following that, we'll open the floor for anyone to throw in their questions, suggestions, and what they think, or perhaps want clarifications from what Prof has explained, or from any, from what we have discussed today so far. Thanks for your patience and thanks for your time. So now, I wouldn't even call it a question. It's more like a follow-up, opening to some of the issues we are engaging. The first thing is that I'm not so conversant or deeply embedded in the Nigerian curriculum, and hence I am happy we have those who are immersed in this process. Where I've studied both in North America or work in North America, in Europe, and particularly in South Africa. I did my undergrad in South Africa and Ghana, and I did my master's, and then I also studied in Europe also. But this is the first time I'm seeing a nation, I'm going to use the word, impose curriculum on universities. I've never seen that in my journey, both studying in Europe, working in the US, North America, and working in South Africa and studying in South Africa, even in Ghana. I like the fact that you mentioned the uniqueness of perhaps the later years of the School of Ife, the School of UI. That is what they have now across the world. I'm going to give an instance now. In Bloomington, Indiana University, where I work, or even let's use Europe as an instance, as a case. In Europe, the department where I work before going to the US, which is the Department of Musicology and Sound Studies, University of Bonn, we are known for one thing. We are known for what? For Beethoven. Anything about Beethoven is in that department because that is the city of Beethoven. The department manage the Beethoven archive, his family, his estate, and every music you are looking for behind Beethoven, we have it. So you can't go to anywhere, even across Europe, they reference that department. Oh, you want to work on Beethoven, go to Bonn. And also very close to Bonn, we have where we call Cologne. Cologne is so strong in ethnomusicology, or they call it global music studies. So if you want to do anything around African music, people won't tell you to go to Bonn. They will ask you to do Cologne because that's where the focus lies. They have the archive, they have everything. And the same case in South Africa. You see, in terms of Cape Town, it's different to Stellenbosch. They have their uniqueness, and this uniqueness is underpinned by the reality that each school designed their own destiny, and it is also about marketing, visibility. So there's what we call co-opetition and competition. So in North America or US or South Africa, there's room for competition. So, for instance, School A must design and manage their own curriculum. One thing they must not do is that they must not fall below the national idea of standard. That is where they are coming together. Apart from that, the idea of music is different. The approach, actually, they follow different approaches. So the question is, why are we trying to bring everybody together in Nigeria? Why are we trying to do that? That's the first question I want to ask. Why can't we have the retain that UI school of thought, where if you want to learn about this, go to UI. Oh, we have the Unilag or IFE school of thought. We want to do this, you must go to Unilag because they are known for this kind of scholarship, or the Uniport school of thought, or Mountaintop school of thought. So these are the kind of things that one can start engaging, particularly for today's need, the contemporary need across the world. Now, I have seen some insightful details from what you presented. Before now, I didn't have this understanding. Hence, I appreciate the fact that we are discussing this today. I see more, we are tending toward maintaining the art field, the performance, the artistic, which is good. But the question is do we really need this in 21st century? My HOD mentioned earlier that to play music now, you don't need university anymore. This was the case 20 years ago. To be a fantastic organ, you don't need a university certificate. To be the best producer in the world, you don't need university. To be the best pianist, concert pianist, you don't need universities anymore. The role of university is critical thinking. You are training thinkers who can engage simple ideas and expand them and problematize issues and create context for the nation. So what we do in other spaces is simply to engage critically with these same materials, African music, Indian music. They are not just playing or reading, they are also critically engaging and advancing scholarship. Let me just stop there. So what do you think about this? Particularly the idea of trying to unify. Is this really what we need? This is open to everybody. It's open. I'm going to open the air.
Maybe if if I may come in, yes, the idea, please, I don't want us to misconstrue the idea, because the NUC, they were, the NUC as a body, was, established on two legal frameworks. Okay. But the one which is very germane to your observation now is the second one, which is called Act number N81 Laws of Federation of Nigeria, 2004. He said this act sets up the National Universities Commission as a body, corporately charged with the responsibility of advising the federal and state government of all aspects of university education and the general development of, is the second one. It empowers the National Universities Commission to lay down minimum standards for all universities and other institutions of higher learning in the federation and the accreditation of their degrees and other academic awards in formal consultation with the universities. For that purpose, after obtaining prior approval thereof through the minister from the president. Okay, it is on that legal framework that, don't forget that a CCMAS, core curriculum and minimum academic standard. So minimum, and that is why, that's the minimum. So that's it, that was produced, or provided with the 70%. So let each university, based on their uniqueness, go, just like what I said that, mass was pushed towards 100%. They just told it was BS was done. The same way BMAS was done. But this is the first time, just like my HOD said that this is the first time that
I even listening to you.
Yes, that the university can have their input. You understand? So, and this time around now, each university is now given the opportunity to just work and present courses based on their areas of strength.
So sorry, Prof. Let me throw it to you. If NUC, sorry, sister, just a quick one. Okay, don't worry. NUC is mandated to give minimum.
Okay.
And they are giving 70.
Okay.
Is that not the maximum? Okay. Because I think it should have been the other way around.
Yes, rightly. Of course. logically speaking, everybody will.
Yeah.
But it's
because you see, that's what
they
the sister said. Maybe they've given too much.
They consulted, the CEOs of the university, and they didn't take that decision on their own. The CEO, that is the vice chancellor, suggested this. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that is
because I think it is minimum standard. You are giving 30 and let us deal with 70.
Even 50.
Even 50. I let you do 50-50.
Yeah.
The sister said that so that you can even
negotiate.
Yes.
But
in not sell it's a new approach.
Yeah.
We have seen the gains here. We have been able to maneuver our way around the available thing, and we've been able to create an identity for ourselves. So it's still good. Why we hold on to the ask for more?
Exactly. That's exactly what I have a video. Maybe I will share it with you later. We're giving to us when we were having this discussions that is with Professor Kepukola. He said that there's no perfect human individual or system. You understand? This is 30% now. It's a curriculum. Normally, each curriculum runs for 5 years. So, from now, people will be looking at taking note, looking at the defect. You understand? What can we do to improve? You understand? Maybe with that now.
The CCMAS.
Yeah, exactly. CCMAS is here now. But then we look for something else. Then maybe some people can now just say, okay, the decision may be let's shift. Let's reduce this 70% from let us increase the 30% from the university to something else. I think
it's a good way to start.
Exactly.
Can we have?
I think definitely from the way things are going, I'm sure each university is going to demand for more percentage. Yeah, Prof, I wanted also to ask Prof if minimum is 70%. Minimum, that's a maximum, not a minimum. Anyway.
Please don't ask me because I'm not a staff of any. But what we are engaging.
If I want to explain something,
Okay.
my thought about Prof was talking about why the unification, of standards of all the universities, like Ayo explained. I schooled in a city, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and in Pittsburgh we have at least, I don't want to mention the newest one, but we have 4 major strong universities, and each of them all of them have the Department of Music, but all of them approach it from the foundation of their university. For example, the University of Pittsburgh is a research-based university. So anything you are studying in the University of Pittsburgh must be research-based. And then Carnegie University is a tech-based university. So even if you study music there, it is technologically based, nothing about it. So anybody who wants to do music from a technological perspective, if you come to University of Pittsburgh, if you go even to Duquesne University, but if you want the real thing, you go to Carnegie. And then Duquesne University is a performance-based university. So when you study music or anything from that university, it is performance-based. So while somebody who is at University of Pittsburgh will just be doing their research and writing their papers and so on, when you come to Duquesne, be ready that you know what you're doing in terms of performance. And then Carlow University, which is the smallest, and it is not the smallest because of the size alone, but that is because they have their nursing degree. It's heavily online. If you want to do anything online-based nursing, the best place for you to do is Carlow University. So each university still have their uniqueness, even though everybody is doing the same thing, music, history, and so on, but they're all doing it from different perspectives. Now, my only understanding of why NUC wants this kind of unification and getting 70% of this unification, I think is because of JAM. because everybody takes JAM to enter a university. So for me, I think they want to like standardize or make like an equal table that will enable the students from different spheres to be able to take JAM on a fair platform. Good, but how helpful is that at the end of the day is something that we will need to find out only by testing the program. I still insist on that. We cannot judge the program now without, yes, we're all going crazy about it with all the difficulties and so on, but we cannot draw a conclusion without testing it. My only plea is that it shouldn't be 5 years. They should reduce it. Prof, please talk to them, talk to NUC. Let them reduce it to about like 3 years so that within that period, we are able to, because what I've just discovered about the country is that we get settled with something and then we take it for granted and then we settle with it. So if we don't make the changes quicker, you'll find out that all the universities will just settle with it and waiting we will do now, nothing. NUC don't talk, will not do anything. So I think that the period of testing should be reduced so that we are able to make the corrections and, maybe reduce the 70% to 50-50, whatever, but we should be able to make it in such the testing period short so that these changes are made quickly and then the universities will be more productive, because it's only by so doing that we'll be able to develop a foundation for each and every one of us, each university now, so that in the future, we'll be able to speak the way I am speaking of my beloved university, University of Pittsburgh, that is heavily research-based. We will be able to talk of IFE like that. Mountain Top is so based. We'll be able to do this. So the quicker we go about this testing period, the better. Thank you.
I think I agree with Sister Doctor. Very wonderful. And we need to speed things up. And I will also suggest that Prof, you are my Prof, you are my friend, there's a responsibility. We need to talk more about this, because in all sincerity, you're spoken. I feel I'm being enlightened, really. Yes, we need to talk more on this, because when you talk, you are there. Now we have not seen what went on when it came on. So yes, let's talk more. Let the music people talk more, like other people there. By the time we are calling for a review, it must have been, it will be so apparent what we are giving up. It's a responsibility you have to take on.
Yeah. Okay, our time is quite it's fast spent and we need to quickly move now. Okay, so thanks so much for your patience, our audience online, and thanks to our presenters today. I agree with the HOD that, in fact, I think, well, I am happy that we are hosting this conversation. This conversation should have happened before now.
Yes,
this should have happened in one way or the other. People should have, but we are happy that we are hosting this kind of conversation. This is very important, not just for us alone, but for the entire music academy in Nigeria. And I hope they can join and, but now we are opening the floor for our audience online to ask questions, clarifications, what you think, what you think, and what you, and again, our student, of course, which are the primary concern here today, and also the subject and the context of the this CCMAS of a team. So, dear colleagues and friends online, you are welcome to, ask questions, and we are happy to take your questions, and let's see how we can, share ideas and navigate these interesting dynamics today. Thank you.